Hey guys, Jim the Game Guru. Today's video I'm going to go into some Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, the card game. Super cool box. Love the artwork in this game. As you can see here. Very popular game, roguelike game. They just kind of took the theme of it, put it into a card game. The object of the game is to get 4 souls. The first person gets 4 souls from defeating monsters or achieving certain objectives with cards, because sometimes some cards will give you an extra soul. Then you win if you're the first person that gets the 4 souls. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go show you the components and do a quick little 1v1 setup. So we'll do 2 players simulation of how to play Binding of Isaac 4 Souls. All right, let's dig into some Binding of Isaac's 4 Souls. In the game, what we have is we have 3 decks. We have a treasure deck, and then when we start the game, we flip over 2 treasure cards. This is kind of like the market in the game. So each one of these treasure cards you can either earn by defeating a monster or by paying 10 cents to either buy one of these 2 cards that are flipped up, or you can buy the top card on the deck. Then you have the monster deck right here. The monster deck, you will have 2 active monsters that any player can actually fight. Anytime a new card is flipped over from here, it will actually replace one of the 2 monsters that are available. And over here we have the loot deck. These are kind of like ability cards that you can get. Some of them will be items. But these are the ones that do not require to be purchased. Only the treasure ones are the ones that can be purchased. These ones you actually get while you're playing your hand. When you get to the beginning of your turn, you can actually draw one of these. And then there's probably other card abilities that allow you to get more. Or if you defeat a monster and they say, grab a loot card, etc. So we have 3 cents. Each player starts off with 3 cents. Each player starts off with 3 loot cards in their hand. We have not picked our characters yet. Let's go ahead and pick our characters. So as you can see, the colors. Just look at the cards. The colors on the cards are just, the artwork is just absolutely fantastic. It matches the video game well. So we have Isaac, which his starting item is the D6. So Maggie, her starting item is Yum Heart. Cain, starting item Sleight of Hand. Eve, the Curse. Lazarus, starting item Lazarus Rags. Samson has Bloodlust. And I believe this one's an Eternal too. Yeah, the Eternal. Blue Baby, which has Forever Alone. The Forgotten, which has the Bone for its item. Lilith, which has Incubus. Then Judas, which has the Book of Belial. And then Eden. This character will actually, you can pick the top 3 treasure cards off the deck, and then you can actually pick one to use as your starting item, and that item is Eternal. Anything marked as Eternal means that it cannot be destroyed if you die. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose Isaac, just because, hey, you know what? It is what the game is, the main character of the game. And then I'm going to choose, let me see what here. Let's do Maggie. It doesn't really matter. We'll just do Maggie. So players start here. The cards are turned over like this, because that means that they are exhausted. They cannot be used. That's how the game starts. And then in the beginning of your turn, you're actually going to kind of untap them to be able to use them. There are additional cards in the game, these kind of cards right here. If you want to, eventually later on, once you get used to playing the game, if you want to play with additional cards that can kind of change the gameplay a little bit. So these cards will actually give you extra souls when somebody meets a certain criteria. So like the first person to control 2 or more Guppy items gains this soul, the soul of Guppy. The soul of Greed, the first player to have 25 cents or more gains this soul. And then the soul of Gluttony, the first player to have 10 or more loot cards in their hand gains this soul. I'm going to put these aside. I'm not going to play with these in this simulation. This is going to be a 2-player game. The money stack I have up here, I like how they kind of include the money in these like these little rolls, which is pretty hilarious. What else we have? We have 2 die too. This is for attacking. So this is the die you roll to attack. This die right here, in case you end up getting this game and you have no idea what the hell does this die do, because it took me a while to figure out because it was very hard to find in the instruction manual. This die, all it does is keep track of the damage on the monsters. That's all it does when you're attacking. The 8-sided die. The instruction manual, very small. This is literally the instruction manual. I mean, it's super, super tiny. I wish they had a little bit more detail in it, explaining certain things. Most of the things they explain pretty, they rather well. But sometimes there's things where you want a little bit more clarification, and it's not very. I mean, the box is big enough that they could have put a little bit more of a meatier manual there. But it's not bad. Okay, so loot cards. Let's see. Let me just go ahead and just show you some of the cards real quick, and just show you how they look. These are like a lot of the treasure cards, and you can see the artwork. It's so sick. Like boom, each player votes on an item in play. Destroy the item with the most votes. If there is a tie, cancel this effect. So every item that I've seen in this game has some kind of unique ability that does not really overlap with any other item, which is really, really cool. So everything feels very unique in this game. So like this one, the goat head. At the end of your turn, you may discard any number of loot cards, and then loot equal the number of cards discarded this way. I mean, everything has got some kind of different thing, whether it's gaining health, like here, Sacred Heart. Each time you roll a 1, you may change it into a 6. So you see how like each one just has completely different abilities. I wish these were all face up while I was rolling through here. Sackhead. I mean, the art is just, it's just awesome. Glass cannon, shadow. I mean, it's crazy. Let's see, we got the chest. Okay, well, so these are a bunch of the items. Donation machine, shovel, shiny rock. It gives you a lot of cards in this game. It's just crazy. Here are some of the monsters. Like, look at all these monsters. And some of these are not monsters. Some of these are actually like chests. Like here, like dark chests. If this flips up, you can roll and gain some benefits. Like if you roll a 1 or a 2, you gain 1 cent. A 3 to 4, you loot 2. And then if you do a 5 or 6, you take 2 damage. But all these enemies, like Conjoined Fatty, Greedling, I mean, a lot of these guys, like the characters you see in the game, War, Devil Deal, Gemini, Mom's Dead Hand, Famine, Doppel, some more chests, Trite. But look at all of the enemies you can defeat, and even parts of Mom. So Mom's Eye, because in Binding of Isaac, the biggest villain in the game is your mother. Mom's Hand, Carrion Queen, Daddy Long Legs. But that art and the colors are so rich. I can see forever. And then there's cards like this where they're not monsters. They're like abilities. Look at the top 6 cards of the loot deck. You may put them back in any order, then loot 1. And there's curses. Curse of Amnesia. When revealed, give this curse to any player. At the end of your turn, discard 2 loot. So this person, at the end of their turn, they have to discard 2 loot. When you die, discard this. So the curses in this game are absolutely nasty. Gold chest, swarm of flies. And in each card, the enemies have a health. They also have the die that you need to be able to hit them, and their attack power on what they hit you back. So this is the Ring of Flies is 3, so you have to hit them 3 damage, which is actually a lot for flies. Some of these guys are very easy. They only have 1 health. Some of them have 4 health. But the restrictions on the rolls are so high. The roll of 4 plus. It's just insane. Yep. Awesome. Lots and lots and lots of yummy monsters. And then here's our loot. Let's take a look at the loot. These cards are kind of like action cards in a way. If you want to compare it to other game, there's cards that you gain money. And there's cards that just do various abilities. Prevent up to 2 damage dealt to a player or a monster. So this game, there's like a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of working together to help somebody. There's a lot of hoarding. You know, it's so like this is a good way to screw somebody over. If you play this out of your hand when it's not your turn, you could prevent up to 2 damage dealt to a monster as somebody else is trying to beat the monster. So there's lots of ways to make other people to kill other players. So this game is one of those games where you sometimes, you know, you work with people, and sometimes you want to screw them over and kill them because you don't want them getting souls. Because the first person with 4 souls wins the game. So lots and lots of loot cards. I mean, it's crazy. There's no shortage of cards in this game. All right, so let's go ahead and do a couple rounds. We'll do a couple rounds with these in this 2-player game. So I'm gonna go ahead and do Isaac first. So Isaac, I'm gonna go ahead and untap him. That's the very first thing you do on your turn, and then you end up drawing a loot card. So here we go. We have, so now he's got a card with 2 cents, and actually 2 cards with 2 cents. So you can go ahead and play 1 loot card on your hand. So we're gonna go ahead and give them, he's gonna get 2 more. So now he's got 5 cents. He does have his eternal card, which cannot be destroyed when you die. So anytime you die in this game, you have to choose 1 non-eternal card to destroy, discard a loot card, and get rid of 1 cent. See, you could also play your ability, your leave the ability of your character so that you can tap them anytime to play another loot card out of your hand in response to someone else's action. What am I going to do? So I gained 2 cents there. I do have these 2 of the cards here. I got to look at the top 5 cards of the treasure deck, put 4 on the bottom of the deck and 1 on the top. I do have this one here, the Tower 2, that it basically gives out damage to monsters. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to risk it. I'm going to go ahead and try to fight the Holy Keeper Head, which is any player rolls a 4, they gain 2 cents while this is out. And it has 2 health, and it only gives 1 damage back. So during combat, if I miss, I have to roll a 4 or higher in order to hit this enemy. So during combat, if I miss, that's when I take damage. And this only gives you 1 damage back. So let's go ahead and roll. Oh, look, I rolled a 5, so I hit this. So now I use the 8-sided die to keep track of the damage. So Holy Keeper Head takes 1 damage. Let's go ahead and roll again. Why not? And he rolled a 4, so guess what? I gained 2 cents for that. That's beautiful. I also have enough to kill it. So I killed Holy Keeper Head, and then as a reward, I can roll the die and gain X amount of cents, which I'm going to go ahead and do. Now I'm going to go ahead and discard this next to the monster deck. And the reason is because this is not giving me a soul. This creature gives me a soul, this Wrath. So since this one gives me a soul, I would put that on my side over here to keep track of it. To keep track of how many souls I have, because the first person to 4 wins, right? Let me go ahead and roll the reward for the Holy Keeper Head. You know what? I'm gonna do my D6 item because I don't like a 2. I want more money. Oh god, I roll another 2. Okay, so I gained 2 cents for the Holy Keeper Head. There you go. Isaac is now done, but I have a lot of money here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 9 money, which is fantastic. Maggie goes ahead and untaps. Another monster card flips out in place of the Holy Keeper Head, which is Ragman. Ragman does a lot of damage back. Holy cow, 2. It's got 2 health. And this one is when this dies, creature dies, after gaining rewards, roll on a 1 or 6 put this card back on top of the monster deck. Wow, so he can actually come back. He's got insane rewards though. Look at that. He gives you a soul, and you can loot 3 loot cards from the loot deck, which is absolutely fantastic. What's Maggie gonna do? What is Maggie gonna do? Well, first she's gonna get a loot card, right? And now she gets to play a loot card too. So let's see what she's got. She's got the Broken Ankh. Each time you roll a die, 1 to 5, you die. Wow. 6, prevent death. If it was your turn, end it. Wow. So, what's going to happen here? Oh, look, she's got a Lost Soul. Let's go ahead. This is an example of one card that I said earlier in the game that would give you a soul. Because you get souls when you fight monsters, but sometimes you'll gain a soul from a loot card. And there you go. So her card she's going to play is Lost Soul because it gives her, I'm going to put it right here, it gives her a soul that counts as her 4 souls for victory. What else is she going to do? Is she going to attack now? Let's see. Should I go for the Wrath? Yeah, why not? I think she'll go for Wrath. Let's do it. So she's going to go ahead and roll. And she rolls a 2. So she takes 1 damage back. And she rolls a 1. Ow, these are really, really bad rolls. So she's going to go ahead and use her Yum Heart to prevent 1 damage to any player or monster. And she rolled another 1. So she is dead. And since she dies, she gets tapped all the way. She loses 1 cent for her death. And she also loses a loot card. What are we going to do? I think we're going to get rid of the Ankh. Because this one, even though it's cool because it can prevent a death, it is also very hard. It's like you have to roll a 6. And that's the only way you can do that. So she's dead. Now I'll go ahead and untap Isaac. I'm going to go ahead and draw. Ooh, he gets the Dice Shard. Force a player to reroll any dice roll. That's kind of nasty. So now Isaac having the D6 to force a player to reroll a dice roll. And this, the Dice Shard, I could, in theory, tap, and then force somebody to reroll twice. Which is really, really nasty. I'm going to go ahead and play this for 2 cents. I'm going to gain 2 cents. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend 10 cents because all treasures, whether you buy from here or from the top of the deck, are 10 cents. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm left with 1 cent. Okay, put that back in the bank over here. And now we're going to go ahead and what are we going to do here? Oh, we're going to buy the treasure, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go from the top. So Isaac gets this, which is the potato peeler. Put the top cards of all decks into their discard piles. Okay. This is not an eternal item. So if Isaac dies, he could end up losing this item because you have to get rid of 1 item. Any non-eternal item has to be discarded. What am I going to do? Should he go after this? I think I'm gonna go after this. I think I'm gonna go after Wrath because he can force a reroll, which is fantastic. Darn, these low rolls with Wrath. So he's gonna go like this and force a reroll. Oh, a 4. So I hit him for 1. There you go. Come on, all I gotta do is hit him 2 more times. Yep, a 6. So now this goes to 2. There you go. Wrath has 2 damage on him. And another 6. Boom, baby. All right. There is a penalty, though. And that is Wrath has a penalty that when this dies, roll. A 1 to 3, all players take 1 damage. A 4 to 6, all players take 2 damage. Well, Maggie's already dead, so I can't overkill her. So let's see. But then again, she does. No, I don't think you're allowed to overkill. So let's go ahead and roll, because this is dead. And oh, he gained 6. That's the other thing from that guy. He gained 6 cents from his rewards. Let's see what happens. Wow, a 3. Okay, so all players take 1 damage. That's fine. Isaac will take the 1 damage. Who cares? Because he's got 2. Because he didn't take any damage from fighting him. So he is done now, and he gets Wrath as a card over here. And the reason is because Wrath gives you 1 soul. And that counts toward the 4 souls to win the game. So this is still tapped until the next turn. We'll put this over here. All right. So put these cards down. Let's switch over to Maggie. Maggie untaps. She draws another loot card. Oh, and we got something. She's going to play this to gain 2 cents because she needs some money. Like, she needs money now. Oh, we get another monster that gets flipped over. Oh, okay. Skolix, which each time this deals damage to a player, they also discard a loot card. That is absolutely nasty. And you have to roll a 5 or higher to hit it. It doesn't do much damage back to the player. It only just does 1 damage back. But the player does gain 1 treasure when this dies, and it gets a soul from this card, which is great. These enemies here are absolutely vicious right now, as far as start off enemies. She doesn't have a lot of loot cards. So I'm going to go ahead and... What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and use her ability, just so she can play another loot card. And I'm going to go ahead and put down Bloody Penny. And Bloody Penny is each time a player dies, you loot 1 card. I'm going to put it out here so that way if somebody else dies on the field, then Maggie will gain something. So she's done. She's not going to go anymore. It's her way of trying to say, hey, I want to gain more loot cards if possible. So Isaac goes. He untaps his D6. He's going to go ahead and loot 1. He's got another card here. We'll gain him 1 cent. So he's going to go ahead and play that. He'll gain another 1 cent. And now he's going to choose what, does Isaac want to go after one of these 2 monsters? Or if he doesn't choose to attack one of these 2 monsters, you can actually choose to attack a monster off the top of the deck. So that is another option. Wow. You know what? I don't like these 2 monsters here. I just don't. Even though they give you souls. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Isaac's going to go ahead and attack 1 off the top of the deck. Why not? And I'm going to replace it on Skolix because I don't like Skolix. I'll leave Ragman. It's a boom fly. When this dies, it deals 1 damage to all players. Okay. That's fine. Let's go ahead and roll. Let's try to kill it. Boom. A 4+ to do, and it's only got 1 health. That is dead. It does not give me a soul, but it does have a reward of 4 cents. So Isaac gains 4 cents. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's go ahead and flip another monster to replace that. And it's the red host. And it's got 2 health. You have to roll a 3 to hit it, and it deals back 2 damage. Its reward is 5 cents when you kill it. So Isaac is done. He's not going to do anything else. Maggie's up. She gets untapped. She's going to go ahead and draw her loot card. Let's see. She gets the Soul Heart. Prevent 1 damage to any player. That is nice. So she can use this for battling. But you see how all the items are very unique, and they have all these unique abilities, and I absolutely love that in this game. So she's not going to do anything else, I don't think. She's going to wait to kind of beef up a little bit, and she's going to go ahead and pass. Then Isaac goes. He's going to go ahead and draw the loot card, and then the cycle continues, right? You draw a loot card at the beginning of your card. You choose if you want to attack. You play 1 loot card. And if anytime during somebody else's turn or during your turn, you can always tap your character to play an additional loot card. You can tap these at any time if they have tapping ability in response to players
or during your turn. You gain souls by killing creatures in order to make your way to force souls, or you can gain souls by playing certain cards that give you souls. So these two players are tied at 1 soul each, and then they just keep going. You keep battling monsters, you keep buying items, you keep using items to try to screw other players, and then just battle it out until you get to that 4th soul, and then that player wins the game. You can't have any more than 10 cards in your hands, 10 loot cards in your hand. I mean, obviously you can have as much money as you want, but in this game, typically what you're going to do, so like on Isaac's turn, I have all this money here. I probably would have went ahead and bought another treasure. I'm just curious. Let me buy another treasure. I just want to see what Isaac would have gotten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the top. Yeah, he would have got the D20. Destroy any item in play and replace it with the top card of the treasure deck, which is absolutely sick. Now this, you can't, I don't believe you can target eternal items with this though. So you can go ahead and target somebody else's item, that, especially if it's something OP'd, and just nuke their item. So then now he's got 3 items there, plus his eternal item, including his eternal item. And that's it. It's a very simple play style. It's just the battle of getting to 4 souls, and that's it. Binding of Isaac Full Souls, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.